Well, I'm here with my dad, Roy Diteman, and we're going to do a little bit of a memorial here for his brother, Curtis Diteman. So I'll let you get started, Dad. Like when Uncle Curtis was born and where and...
Yeah, Uncle Curtis was born in Prosser, Washington on January 15th of 1936. And just short of 2 days of being 2 years after I was born, short ways away near the airport. And Kurt was born on Court Street, but at the end of Court Street, it might have been another name because it was right on the canal. They had a lot of irrigation canals around then, and I can remember the house he was born in. We'd walk up there years later, and it had a lot of glass across it. And I think it was a porch that was glassed in, and they were very small houses. A lot of them were just those special homes that were ordered in packages, and you'd put your own house together. A lot of those were sold by Sears and Roebuck and Company and shipped all over the United States. So anyway, later on we lived farther down Court Street, and that was about 5 years later. That's where Frank was born. So we had some good times there. Kurt always, of course, was, as a young little kid, he was fond of the cherries. We always had cherries in the yards. Everybody had cherry trees around there, so he was always covered with cherry juice, and you could hardly recognize him. I have a real good picture of him somewhere, if I could find it. It was a torn picture, but it was when he was only about 2 or 3 years old, and he was just covered with cherry juice.
This is one that I have here, and it's Aunt Pat, Uncle Kurt, and then little Roy in his, looks like his sailor suit. And that would have you guys would have all been in Prosser at that time.
Yeah.
And that's about how old Uncle Kurt would have been with the cherry juice.
About 3 or 4 years old. Yeah, I think he was around 3 years old in those pictures there.
Yeah.
That was around 1939, and he was coming up in the world and trailed around behind Pat and me, and neither one of us knew where we were going either. So we'd go around the neighborhood and make a nuisance of ourselves.
And then after Prosser, you guys moved to Spokane for a little while?
No. What happened was we were living on a little farm about 2 or 3 years after we were living on Court Street there. We were on a little farm. We called it the Burnell place, right outside of Prosser. And we heard on the radio President Roosevelt's speech in 1941 that the Japanese had attacked. And Frank was about a year old by then. And so Dad took a job in Kennewick, which was about 30 miles away. And we moved there just briefly. We were only there a few months, just through the part of the school year. And then we moved on up to Spokane and lived in the Spokane area after that for the duration of most of our lives until we were adults. We moved first to the South Hill, and I believe that was where Kurt started school when we got up there, because he'd gotten old enough by then, and I was about in the 3rd grade, and 4th grade along in there later, and we lived there for about a year and a half, and then we moved to the North Hill of Spokane and went to a different school, Longfellow School, and then we moved to Garden Springs in 1945, right shortly after Judy was born. And from that point on, we were there in 45, from that age on to adulthood for all of us. So it was kind of an interesting place because it was close to the main part of town, but yet, it was out in the country, and most of the people were rural type people and really friendly around there, and it was a nice small school. And of course, Kurt and I went from a school of about 50 students in 8 grades. We went to Spokane to Lewis and Clark High School with 2,000 students, So we were kind of out of our element there. Spent most of our time looking up and oogling everything.
So we're going to stop here for now.